I'm back. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Come on in. We're going to talk a little bit about astrology. We're going to talk about the extravaganza and a little bit about Christmas and all of that. So, welcome, everybody. Ooh. I just suddenly as soon as I got on here, I was fine. As soon as I decided to come on, I get this, my throat's just like, ah! So no worries, no worries. So I got my coffee. So if anybody wants to know any Christmas gifts to buy me, always, you can never go wrong with a Starbucks coffee. So welcome, everybody. I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. It is December 1st, rabbit. And we are heading into this energy, and I want to create some real positive vibrations, but I want to also create some positive vibrations, but I also want to talk about the astrology. Not saying that the astrology isn't positive, but there is some humdinger of some energy that's really happening right now. So the last month of the year, and this according to the calendar that we use now, our lovely Neptune at around 6:35 or something, or 6 something, went direct. So this is couldn't be like, it could be where you might be feeling, I mean, it's already noon or so, like you might be feeling freaking out of what you shouldn't, and now the stuff you should, like, it's like you're freaking out over stuff that you shouldn't be freaking out over, and then the stuff's going to show up, and that's the stuff you actually should be freaking out over. So very psychological. There's a lot, and I said on the last full moon, where the midheavens, where it's going to be hitting different points, and I did mention China, and China markets Taiwan, and then this solar eclipse is going to be hitting Australia. So there's things that are going on that are interesting per se. Something to do with the Australian Parliament, that they're going to meet for 10 days, and that's going to be the only 10 days. Like there's something going on that they're not going to be able to come and meet. Now, not freaking everybody out, but there are things that when parliaments usually do that, have a meaning to them. And the way the Chinese market is going, and their bonds and things that are going on there, it's getting a little bit crazy, and things are going to get a little bit crazy. I don't want to say China and war, but there's something going on that's happening there, and we have a distraction that they don't want you to be looking at or paying attention to. So this is what, this is part of the energy that's coming in. So you might be feeling some of that tension, some of that, oh my God, what's going on? So, and then the moon is in Scorpio. So the moon is in the dark moon. This is the dark moon. This is, a couple days before you have the solar eclipse. Now, this is when you start to look at your cycle and how your cycle works for women, and how you go from the full moon, and then you got the quarter square, the 3/4 square, and that's usually when ovulation is coming in, and then you go up, and then you come to a couple days, within these 2.5 days, 3 days of the dark moon, and that's usually when women bleed, and then you go into the new moon on average. So there's that type of cycle that's happening. So we're going through a cycle right now. And this cycle is also with the balsamic phase and the sun coming in. It's a little stressed out. Just a wee bit, So we have Saturn at 9 degrees in Aquarius, and in about 18 hours, there's a square that's happening that's going to end. And I feel there's a little bit of an ouchiness that's coming in with this. So there's a little bit of like, all right, there's things that are going to be happening, beliefs, expectations that don't fit. So some things may not be fitting the way that you want them to fit. Some things are going to be feeling a little bit agitated. and feeling that agitation. And as I said before, with Neptune going direct, here's this big energy that's coming in with this wave to the shoreline, and it's coming in, and it's bringing everything that it's been taking away, all of this stuff that's been sort of hiding, and maybe it's picked up a few things, and you were thinking this is the direction I really want to go into, and then poof, here comes Neptune direct, and it's changing everything. It's changing your ideas, your perceptions, the directions on what you want to go into. And just saying, I mean, I've been just watching it with my husband where, ending one place and starting a new place. So there's endings and new beginnings that are really happening, and they could be quite dramatic, and they could be stressful because you are transitioning, you are moving into something new, you are moving into a new direction. So we have to look at that emotional and try to push through. It's like, if you're emotionally and you're trying to push through, we have Venus at 21 degrees, and it's squaring Jupiter at 24. Not exact. It will be as we get closer to the eclipse or on the eclipse. So we have this energy of like, oh, I want to push through, I want to make things happen, and it's kind of like a constipation kind of energy, because you're really pushing for something to happen. And it's like, Jupiter is like, yeah, I'm trying to make it happen, buddy, but it just isn't happening. And the thing about Jupiter, he can be a malefic or benefic, whoever he's hanging out. We saw that last year when he was being, one of the mafia brothers, and he was hanging out with Saturn and Pluto. So Jupe can be a malefic. If he's hanging out with his dad and his uncle Pluto, well then, crazy shit can happen. And so we're seeing this with this square because Mercury or Mars is a malefic. So sometimes, Mars just wants to get things done. It's our energy to get things done and wants to go forward. And Mercury's off the sun, so that's a good thing. But he's got all this stuff, all this energy, and he wants to get going. So sometimes, because he's not in his home sign, because he's not in a sign that he likes, the moon is not where it likes. So that's your internal core, and here comes your communication. So you might get a little bit muddled with your communication and how you're feeling and how you want to say the things that you want to say. It can be a little bit, it can be overwhelming, because in comes Mercury, and he's like, boom, I want to say these things, I want to do these things, because it's, I'm in Sagittarius, and we want to go, and it's like your internal core is like, but I don't know if I feel that way, and I just like, and it's, you might be feeling a wee bit overwhelmed. Hence, I'm sitting here drinking my coffee. So there's a sense of security when it comes to Saturn. Saturn wants security. It wants this energy of safety and security. All right. He wants things done in a certain way. He rules Capricorn. He also is the co-ruler of Aquarius. So he likes things done. And if anybody who knows an Aquarius, a true Aquarius or an Aquarius rising, they kind of like things done in a certain way. Don't go messing up their cupboard after they've straightened it. They're very particular with how things are done. That's why they're the scientific brain. It has an orderly fashion on how much is going where, and devices and new ideas coming in, and looking at those new ideas. So there is this wanting to keep stable. So we're wanting to keep stable. We're wanting things to, but there's this quincunx over to Neptune. Of course, Neptune has to make an appearance, like, through all of this. It's like, fuck. Like, can't we just? No, you can't. No, so this is going to go weird. And that wasn't crazy, or that wasn't enough. We have, with this Neptune direct, this is going to be where we're going to have some shocking energy or shocking news that is going to be coming out over the next while. Now, I find when things like this happen, sometimes it doesn't happen the day of, but they haven't all of a sudden they happen over the course of a month or a course of a few days. But there's some shocking energy that's going to be coming in that is really going to go at you. And with Neptune going into the third decan, and we haven't been in that third decan before, and it's coming into the opposition to the natal chart Neptune of the United States over the next few days, over the next few months. So we have this energy of going into, part of it is like the 1850s, 1856. So a little bit of craziness coming in, trying to figure out, where do we go? What do we do? What do we stand for? Where's that segregation? And that's where the segregation comes in. And Neptune also deals with multiple dimensions. So we have this energy of multiple dimensions and ideas and everything that's coming forth. Plus we have the Aquarius energy with Saturn and Jupiter there, trying to, look at new ways of doing things, yet wanting to keep the old. And in comes Uranus, is looking at, well, I want to bring in new, I want to bring in this electrical energy. And we're going to be seeing, especially between now and I think the full moon, we're going to see something. I was listening to I can't remember her name, an astrologer who does financing, but she was talking about some financial legalities maybe coming down about banking and things to do with banking, which I found very, thought like, oh, well, that makes sense, because where Uranus is, and the energy of where Uranus is at this time is right when things were, the war was starting, or the war wasn't started yet, but it's kind of like the Hitler era kind of coming in. And there was changes that were coming in with the banking system, especially within Germany, because of the high inflation and everything else, how much it costs to buy a loaf of bread. I remember when in high school, and we're studying the inflation in World War II, and there was a picture of somebody going to go buy a loaf of bread, and they had a wheelbarrow, and the wheelbarrow was filled with money. And it was kind of like, why would you that didn't make any sense to me. It still doesn't make any sense to me how that can judge what a loaf of bread. But that's sort of where, because there is this hyperinflation that's coming in, and part of the hyperinflation that's coming in that you're going to be seeing over the next several months, if you haven't seen it already. I know I've seen some posts where you're going to be seeing where things that you buy, a purchase that you buy. So, I know this is 20 ounces. Venti means 20 in Italian. So I know this is 20 ounces. So all of a sudden you order a Venti, and the Venti is now a grande, and the grande is now a tall, and the tall is now, they're small, right? So all of a sudden, but they're the same price, or the price has been inflated, but the size has been deflated. So you're going to see things like that. We've already seen it with toothpaste over the years. Toilet paper has been a really big one. I don't understand the double rolls. It's like, what? That's not a fucking double roll. Toothpaste, for the price of toothpaste and stuff like that, with an inflation, and then the size went smaller. We're going to be seeing a lot of that coming in, and then something to do with how you spend your money. So I keep on seeing a card, or some kind of card that they want to have restrictions on. So restrictions maybe on daily amounts because of the hyperinflation. So something to do with daily amounts or daily limitations when it comes to money. So we have, especially with Uranus and Taurus, we're coming up to a square, which is going to be on December 24th with Uranus and Saturn. So there's this buildup of some sort of change, some change that is coming in with that. And I keep seeing, I don't know if they're going to implement some kind of new types of cards, or cards that are going to be implemented in keeping track, or something added to your card. And it's going to keep a closer eye on where people spend their money, and if they're spending their money, or where you're sending your money. Interesting. Because when things start to happen, they want to make sure that you keep as much money in the country. So there's going to be things around that. And we're going to really watching Australia. So there's some crazy shit that's going to be hitting Australia at this time too through all of this. This is coming into our awareness. This is coming in so that we can start paying more attention to. And same with China. Because yeah, there's something with the government with China and their bonds and things coming through. And I already mentioned about China not having enough coal and diesel and Taiwan. So there's and if there's something going on in there, I mean, of course, Australia is going to be pulled into it also very quickly and how things are going to come in. But it just there's some weirdness that's happening there. And I feel that weirdness and that vibration goes out because that is also a Commonwealth country. So you got to think who belongs to the Commonwealth and who rules the Commonwealth. So there's something there with the Commonwealth and what's going to come forth with everything, because even with this new version or whatever the fuck it is coming in, it's where I'm feeling okay, that's the diversion for something else. Okay, so we got to watch out for these diversions and really come into our inner core and looking at where we're going to be swayed. And for many people, it's like it's like stay away from the media, stay away from mainstream media right now, because it's like, where am I pulling my energy, my perspective and my belief systems? And with the sun in Sagittarius with Mercury, there is this energy of action oriented. Where do I want to start taking action? So if we are starting to feel very overwhelmed, and this is going to be a really, to honoponopono, put on your mantras, the I ams, and allow for that energy to come through, cut, clear, delete, get the fear out of here. You might have to say that 1,000,001 times a day, bringing in Archangel Michael. So that's going to be an important piece as we are going through not only this week, but through the rest of the month. Because we're going to feel that high energy, that surge. So this is coming in, and with that moon, dark moon, going into the balsamic phase in Scorpio, it's really coming into that internal emotional surge of desires. And so much, with that weirdness with Uranus. So this is, and then Neptune is like your dreams, your visions, and where do you want to start putting your energy into? And we're going to find that it's not to freaking out on where we are putting our energy. So not freaking out. It's starting to look more closely at, like, why am I freaking out over that? Is that worth my time? Is it worth my energy to be doing that? And attention to the areas that are not working, not going to be in. So we're starting to, over the next couple of days, it's shedding, it's purging. So remember, we're going to be purging a lot of crap. We're letting go of a lot of energy. And you don't want to get into some crazy energy as you're letting go crazy energy. So up on my Facebook page, I did put down a Yuled bath, a salt bath. And so doing that salt bath, I'm going to be doing it in a way that I like to brew. I brew it up. I like to brew it up. So what I do is that I take the ingredients except for the salt and I brew it up. And so this is where I start to look at the cedar, the cinnamon, the cloves, and the pine. And even I have old pine needles. Like, I have old pine needles. She has a cedar tree out in front. I can clip some things from the cedar tree. I have cinnamon. I can add the cinnamon in there and cloves, and just brew it on my stove and let it simmer there for about an hour, and then strain it. And then I have the liquid, and I can add that into my bath along with some salts. So that would be absolutely delicious. And then have a tea. And I keep on wanting cranberry orange with cinnamon. If anybody sees any cranberry orange cinnamon tea, let me know, because I haven't seen any out there. But if you see it, let me know. It's been something that I've been craving. So I know it has to be out there somewhere. Or maybe I have to make it myself. Ugh, I'm talking so fast here. So we also have the big red star up in the sky, which is Antares, and that's very scorpionic. And it's there, and the sun is going on it. So this star can really bring in crazy energies and transformations. And it's also where this full moon, we're coming into a bend. It's kind of like this piece of in the sky, this piece that allows you to bend and see around corners. And when I've seen it in people's charts, it's been interesting because they usually have a foresight of seeing things before they happen and just having an inclination of what is going to happen. And it's not at the galactic point. It is in the center point of Sagittarius, and I wrote it down somewhere in amongst all my crazy notes. Because I usually write things down. It is a creative part. Okay. I know. Oh, the Great Attractor. It's called the Great Attractor. That's what it is. And it's going to be around 14 degrees Sag. So this Great Attractor, this energy that's there, and it's like a photon belt, and very light oriented, but it is where it bends the energy or bends the light. And so when you have energy there, or if you have any say your sun is there, or you have any other planets that are like in Sagittarius that are at that point, I find that those people are able to kind of like peek around a corner or see things in a different way. It's just like, well, I know there's something around that corner, or they have a vision, or they have um a knowingness that it's there. So we're going to be feeling that, along with a lot of electromagnetic energy that's going to be coming in as well. So over the next couple days, we're going to be bombarded with a lot of energy, and especially with this solar eclipse. And you're going to notice that things that have happened over the last, since the new moon or the full moon, lunar eclipse, things were moving out of your way, or things were ending, and those endings are bringing in some new beginnings. And sometimes that ending to that new beginning can be frustrating. It could be that you're moving, it could be a job, it could be a relationship, it could be something to do with your money. So, and with Venus, where Venus is, I mean, there's all of that that's coming in too. So this is an expanding, there's also an expansion that's coming in of the work of of the attentions of not that's not working. So we have highlighting, okay, this isn't working over here, people, so let's let it go, let's find something that can work, or let's move into another direction of where it can work for us, because we are shedding and purging. And being very scorpionic energy is, with Neptune going direct, you're going to see some crazy funky things that are going to come out. And you're going to see people who you thought were normal, but they're not. There's something else. So you're going to see a interesting, you're just going to see some interesting, I want to say reptilian. And I know that's what the Leo King was saying. He was talking about the reptilians and stuff. I know there's something that it's crazy. I also get a lot of grays that are coming in. So so that in the world, but that's going through the fear and wanting you to come into that fear And this is, this is where it's like, don't get too saggy. That means too partying and too, out of it. You still have to be grounded and here. So that, coming into that here, and that's, part of that dark moon energy that's coming in, because the deep truth is coming in. So it's looking at that, because everything's fine, but what you are afraid about um could be very emotional, right? I noticed a lot of entity attachment. Yes, yeah, oh, fucking right. Because I'm glad you said that, because I got that down here. This is all about cord cutting. I wrote this down. Were you reading my notes? Cord cutting, loads of cord cutting coming in, and cutting these cords. So there is this energy. So this building of this dark moon is showing up, and even with Scorpio in the fall, and Mercury, there's emotions in the mind, and it's negative, and it can get you into these crazy negative things. But that crazy reptilian type of energy is really fucking gross. And that's wanting to, like, here, stay in the fear, here, stay in this, you know so feeling, this is where, with the sun and Jupiter, they're sextiling. You might be feeling all of this energy and wanting to close doors. And but this is where, because the Uranus is asking Mercury, be smart, cut cords. So the Uranus and Mercury are coming in, and because of the energy and stuff like that, cutting cords, cutting cords, cutting cords, cutting cords. And sometimes you may not understand, but I can see what is in it's like, I can see what is in my destiny, and being honest, and the root of the soul, and nourishing the soul, and what I need to survive and thrive. And if it's not thriving, if it's not allowing me to thrive, the story's not happening, and allow to declutter. So the stories that are not running in our, the stories that are running in our lives that are not thriving, they got to cut off. They got to go. And causing a teeter. Yes, definitely. So this is, it's there's a lot of smoke screens that are coming into, and with these smoke screens are coming in with these events. And the sun, is also finishing off a aspects to Chiron. So stop what isn't happening truly for us. It's the emotional attachments can be too much, and finding positive solutions through this. And this is where it's like, I'm going to say, get an energy healer. If you trust somebody, you got to trust it. You got to find somebody who's an energy healer that you trust, that you can, because what I have noticed is that there's a lot of new psychics in that are coming out, but they're stealing other people's identity, and stealing them, and then going up and building a YouTube page and stuff. So there's a lot of creepy people out there, and that's part of that crazy reptilian gray energy that's coming. I'm going to call them the grays that are coming out. They're wanting to come out to bring in fear, to bring in that negativity. So this is, again, we got to come back into our honoponopono, come back into our thriving, and cutting cords. And you might wake up and you're just feeling really out of sorts in the morning. Take a deep breath. Go jump in the bath. Seriously, have a bath in the morning, or have a shower with a salt scrub. This is coming in because we want to come into this beautiful Christmas season. We want to come in to this beautiful energy and begin to celebrate and connect. And that's part of it. You can find them on TikTok. Oh, I haven't been watching TikTok as much. I haven't even been posting in TikTok. I found no. That's what I kept on getting, is a no with TikTok. So, yeah. I TikTok's great when you're going to the bathroom. So, but yeah, um, unless you have certain people that you follow. I follow Mom from the Funny Farm. She's great. No, it's not a good place for it. No. So I'm sticking to posting on my YouTube, my Instagram, and my Facebook right now. That's where I'm going. Um, and just continuing doing what I do, and loving what I do. So that's, that's where my thing is, right? Too many people shuffling cards saying there's, yeah. And some of them, I just see them and I scroll right by. Like on TikTok, I see them, I'm just like, ugh, there's one that keeps on saying, oh, nobody's watching me. And I'm just like, why are you playing the victim on here? Anyways, it's just crazy. So there's a lot of emotion out there, a lot of fear. So come into that grounding, come into that beautiful energy that is you. Go towards what is thriving. There is other things that are coming out that are smoke screening us not to see the real truth of what's going on. I saw a post just recently that said in 2003, 85% of the people believed in the propaganda that was coming out against, I think, Iran when we started the Iraqi war. That there was mass destructive bombs and stuff like that they had. And when they went in there was none. So this is where we're looking at this energy and saying, okay, where are we being diverted? Where are we being pulled? And this is what we have to look at. So if you're wanting a reading, hey, of course, we got the extravaganza going on. My readings right now, they're $75. So the birthday sale is over. Had the birthday sale. We're into this extravaganza, and I gotta say it, extravaganza. So we have, I feel like Count Dracula. So we have readings, $75. The sneak a peek is $25. That's on the 19th, and it's going to be based on what's going to be coming in for 2022. Oh my freaking God. And the fairy workshop, which is going to start. And somebody suggested, and I've been looking at it for a while, and it's weird. And then I saw it posted somewhere else, is doing a tarot mediumship class. So combining my tarot and my mediumship and using the tarot to help you with the mediumship, to help you to connect with spirit. So looking at a tarot mediumship class. So I think that's going to be quite interesting. So as I teach both of them, might as well combine it. So we're going to be having a lot of workshops in that and a lot of combined readings. So readings that are going to come together with things. So yes, Eddie, you want your water. Hang on. Hang on. Got it? As I go on my roller. So, so we're coming into some really big energies and big transformational energies. So let's hang on there. Grab your seahorse. That's what I see. People are going to have to grab their seahorse because we're going in for a ride. And this ride is going to be absolutely, it can be phenomenal for us. It can be great because there is that light, but it's staying on our sparkly seahorses and grabbing onto those reins because we're going for a great ride. So so crazy. So anyways, my extravaganza is on. Today's day 1. So if you are wanting to purchase any of those items, definitely let me know. I'm so excited. Or if you're wanting to go into the fairy workshop, in the fairy workshop, we are going to be working out of this book, Be a Goddess. So this is a book that we're going to be working from. And it's 15 weeks. And I love this book because, I mean, it's an old book. I've been doing this for over 20 years with this book. Because I opened up to one page and it says the gift of the great mother, and it says VCR in here. we don't have VCRs anymore. Oh, we do, but nobody uses them. So, but I mean, it's coming into the magical path and using, cleansing, clearing, and how to cleanse and clear, and calling on the great mother to help to cleanse and clear, and being being of prideful of yourself, loving yourself, changing your beliefs about what is sacred, and allowing yourself to be in that flexible way. So that's the book that we're going to be using with the fairy workshop. It is out of print, but people who have registered for it so far have told me that they have they found it for 20 bucks Canadian and used, but in very good condition. So the books are out there. So there's that's going on. And yeah, so I would love to hear from you. I want to know what your traditions are for Christmas. I will be posting up some recipes up there. And I'm also taking donations for one of my clients who is in need at this time. And she is just in need. She just informed me that she does have a court case that she has to go to on December the 6th, which is on Monday. Um, it just amazes me that I understand with abuse, and I understand how it's getting into the mind of the abuser and the abusee, and that you become their um, enabler, and that you enable that activity to continue to happen. Um, Either it's out of guilt, or it's out of there's guilt and fear that come in there, and shame that come in, and how shame can keep you into a place of darkness. And fortunately, there is that this mom has been getting help, not only for herself but for her child, in order to deal with a lot of things that have happened to her child. And fighting for the protection. And it's amazing. Anyways, still I'm taking donation. It's up there on my Facebook page. You can donate through the Facebook page, or you can send me directly, and I send it directly to her, and she sends it directly to her lawyer. So that can continue on. She has tried legal aid. She's on the list for legal aid, but she has a lawyer now because how things were pushed, and she needed a representation in court. And so a friend recommended this lawyer, and she's absolutely fabulous. So yeah, and I feel at Christmas time, we don't need any more stress. We already got enough stress in this world, and things are already a little bit going haywire. So definitely, if you can help that out, anybody who's doing any purchasing with for any of my items, I am donating 10% out of all what I'm earning throughout my extravaganza, and I'm donating not only to her, but I'm thinking I want to donate and give some money to women in need. So because there's always women are there's so much tragedy at this time that happened as well. So wanting to help out wherever I can. Don't have a hell of a lot, but what I can, I will. So sending you guys out with so much love. Follow me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram for my extravaganza, and let's have fun. And look at, I love this. I picked it up I picked this up in a secondhand shop. I love things like this, don't you? This can be utilized for so many things. Anyways, that's another thing we'll talk about. What you can do with little stockings, and put protections in them, and hang them up all around your house. And people think they're adorable. Love it. So have a blessed day, and stay positive. Try and stay positive. Stay in your power. Go towards what's thriving, and do your cord cutting. And have a blessed day, everybody. Bye-bye.